Hello again, Struck. Welcome back to part 2 of my stream today, the giveaway 3 Days of Strucksmas day 2. You can use exclamation raffle to enter the giveaway or the link which I'm gonna post right now. Just a moment, where did the link go? Oh yeah, here it is. Here it is, just a moment. But yeah, welcome to everyone, welcome and hi to Shokunin TG who said hi. I will be continuing what I was doing earlier today, which is basically playing on all sorts of different heroes. I'm gonna give you the link in a moment, just a second. There we go, that should be the link, which is tinyurl.com/Strucksmas. I'm gonna paste it in the chat. And on this link you can enter for a chance to win one of 3 keys. One key today, one key was yesterday, so there's 2 left, and 1 key is gonna be tomorrow. You're entering just for the key today. Tomorrow there will be a separate giveaway with a separate page, which I will share in my stream tomorrow. But yeah, a good luck to everyone. The person from yesterday's giveaway already confirmed that he was able to activate the game and installs it, so pretty nice. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to Fun Horror, welcome back to you. As well, by the way, if anyone wants to play together, I'm welcoming anyone who wants to co-op with me. Just keep in mind I will be switching builds, and I might have different pacing than other people. But I'm always happy to co-op if someone wants to. I've been experimenting before I stopped part 1 of this stream. I was experimenting with some Torque Swing build. I've never used Torque Swing in my builds. I've used it to test it, but never ended up liking Torque Swing as much as to center a build around it. I think it needs some items that modify it. I think it needs some sort of a hammer that makes Torque Swing do something special. But it's fine. It's fine to have it as an extra fewer skill, and I'm gonna play a little bit more with it. I'm having fun with this. Mostly what I'm doing right now, since last night I got Imbue Relic, and today all day I've been testing builds where Imbue Relic is part of the build. Sometimes I would even go as far as to disable my Relic ultimate. On one of the builds I disabled 1000 volt burst and completely replaced it with Imbue Relic, and I'm just not using it at all. Normally that's actually the opposite. You on some builds you would want Imbue Relic to help you spam the ultimate more. In this build that's what's happening. By using Imbue Relic I can dump more energy with Drain, which results in me being able to spam more of it, which is pretty fun. And yes, I have played Elder Scrolls Online, but it got boring before I even reached max level. I was like 2 levels left until max. I really loved the PvP. The low level PvP was really fun for me in Elder Scrolls Online, but it seemed like a clone of Guild Wars 2. It honestly felt like playing Guild Wars 2 without many changes. Copy-pasted world v world, copy-pasted to a certain extent PvP maps, which is not a bad thing because at least it was good. At least they were copying something I enjoyed. But yeah, I really liked in Elder Scrolls Online the system where I can be low level, fighting the same exact monsters as some high level, and both of us could be getting rewards. Both of us could be getting something valuable for us. So that's the part I liked, how the enemies would scale. In the same, for example, zone, I would be fighting the same enemies as someone else as a lobby, and still both of us getting rewards is pretty much. Thomas Prime is saying, hello Struck, how's it going? Welcome back, Thomas. Nice to see you again. Happy holidays to you too. Not just him, actually happy holidays to everyone who just tuned in. Fun Horror says, seems like you would like the game. They're having a super sale right now. I actually have Elder Scrolls Online. I mean, when I was playing Elder Scrolls Online, I was even paying for the membership. In fact, when I quit the game, I forgot to cancel my membership, and for like 2 or 3 months, I kept paying for that membership before. Actually, Elder Scrolls Online is the only game I've paid as a subscription, and that's coming from a person who doesn't like, in fact, detests, hates subscription as a payment model. One of the main reasons why I don't play World of Warcraft, because of the subscription model. Yeah, Morrowind, Elsewhere, Somerset. In any case, I'm definitely not coming back into Elder Scrolls. It just it seemed like not the type of game I would enjoy, especially in some aspects. It seemed like something not as fun as I hoped it would be. I mean, it's okay, it's fine. But it's nothing special. Honestly, I don't see why I would play Elder Scrolls Online instead of Guild Wars 2, for example. Other than that it's in the Elder Scrolls universe, I don't see another reasonable explanation why. If I were to go and play an MMO, I would prefer to play the copy, not the original. But it wasn't a bad game, it just wasn't... It wasn't as good for me. It got pretty boring pretty quick. Wait, what spawned there? Oh, a yellow enemy. But this build is actually pretty fun. Could this be my next Realm Master build whenever I make a Realm Master build? It seems like a version of the Bloody Slams, but with Torque Swing. The Bloody Swinger. The Bloody Swinger. How's that for a name of a build? The Draining Swinger. Or as I said earlier, the Raisinator. Because by the time it's done draining enemies, they look like raisins. The Raisinator 3000. Thomas says, Esso got you there. By the way, what's about the sales? Skyrim Collector's Edition for like $20. That's actually pretty good considering how much modding the community has done for Skyrim. You've got endless supply of playtime and replayability from all the mods you can play on Skyrim. And mind you, I've never played more than a few hours of Skyrim before I got bored. I miss the good old times where Morrowind was new, and I actually enjoyed Morrowind so much more than Skyrim. I don't know, something felt off with Skyrim, which probably tells you something about me, where it's one of the most enjoyed and most played games, and I just didn't... I couldn't stand it in the first few hours of the game. I thought Skyrim couldn't compare to Morrowind as a game. Maybe it was that it looked differently, maybe it was that it played differently, maybe it was mechanics of the combat. And you didn't really play... Morrowind is the first Elder Scrolls game I've played, that's why it left an impression on me. Because it was the game that my brother got for free when he got a video card. I think it was back in the day for his 18th birthday. I think it was his first PC build that he made, and on that PC, I really loved playing, and we got Morrowind for free with his video card, and I think that's why I played so much of it, and I really loved it. I loved exploring, I loved running around the world, I loved doing all the weird quests, going into towers with mages and going into marshes and fighting all sorts of different people. But keep in mind, I was a teenager back then. If my brother was 18, I was 14. So that's, I guess, my impression from it. Where I guess we're talking about all sorts of sales. He mentioned Elder Scrolls Online sales and also Skyrim sales. We're definitely not talking about Morrowind, but I wanted to mention that Morrowind for me felt better than Skyrim. Maybe I just didn't play Skyrim enough, but if the first few hours were enough to make me say, okay, that's not for me, then I don't know. It just it felt different, but I didn't say it's a bad game. I said it just didn't feel good for me, for my taste at the time. Maybe if I try Skyrim now, I would love it. But back in the day when I tried it for the first time, I had different taste in games. My taste in games changed drastically the last 4 or 5 years. I used to love a lot of PvP. And I used to not love much PvE, and now it's completely the opposite. Now if I want PvP, I go to some MOBA or shooter games where I know it's so balanced and I know gear has zero impact or doesn't exist there, unless it's gear that you get as you progress, but not at the start. Things like that. This build surprisingly feels pretty fun to play. I didn't expect to love it. And surprisingly does decent damage with a weapon of 7,400 attack. I'm surprised of how good the DPS is. And how decent the survivability is for just 54% physical defense. Oh, Skyrim is the new Elder Scrolls chapter. You're not talking about the actual Skyrim game. Okay. So this sale you can get for $20. You can get Morrowind, Elsewhere, Somerset, and the Skyrim chapters. And that's pretty nice. So that's what he meant with that. But yeah, MMOs, it's very hard for me to enjoy an MMO right now. I guess my taste mutated a lot. Oh, did I post on Discord that I'm online? Let me check quickly if I posted my message. I did, okay. Just wanted to make sure. SMUSO, welcome back SMUSO. I hope I'm not mispronouncing it. Nice to see you again. Well, I'm glad we clarified what we were talking about. Because I wasn't clear at first. I thought we were talking about different things, but yeah. So, yeah, interesting. Interesting, and thanks for sharing that fun horror with the others about that sale. And there's sales going on everywhere. I mean, Christmas. People are prone to spending on Christmas, so there are sales everywhere. There are sales on the Steam store, there's probably sales on the Humble Bundle, there's probably sales on PlayStation, Xbox, etc. stores, and there's sales on the Epic store. And I also have a creator key since recently in Epic, since like probably a week ago or so. So if someone feels like buying something from the Epic store, you might be able to get extra discount by using StruckTFL as a code, as a creator code. And by doing that I can get some profits as well. So keep that in mind if you're planning on buying something from the Epic store. At any point in time you could use my code to get discounts on some titles, not on all titles, or at least maybe I don't get profit on all titles, maybe you get discounts on all. I'm not sure how it works, seriously. I can't confirm exactly how it works, whether you get discount only on select titles or not, and whether you get discount on something that's already discounted or not. But it's always worth giving it a try, seeing if it's gonna give you discount. I wish Steam would do something like this, a creator support a creator program like Epic. Would definitely be nice, because Steam is my major platform. 95% of my games are on Steam. Oh, I forgot, it's boss time. Final Fantasy 14 is 50% off as well right now. They want to secure all those gift cards people got as gifts this year. Makes sense, doesn't it? Because there's not much time left until the end of the year, is it? And by the way, my giveaway in 3 hours time, roughly, 2 hours 50 minutes, I will be drawing the winner for today's giveaway, and there will be one more tomorrow. So if you need the game, or if you have relatives or friends that need the game, you can sign up in the giveaway, and good luck to everyone. Oh, I need to drink some water. I had some nice red wine with some red meat, and and then I had some bubbly white wines, Asti, it's Italian. And now I'm pretty thirsty for water, I guess, because of all the red wine and the white wine. So shotgunner shield. I wonder if I have a room to chug it somewhere in my wardrobe slots. We've got a shotgunner shield here, but that one's 14. What about that one? There's a doom pipe here, and then I've got another, and then another. 3 fucking doom pipes. A lot of doom pipe. The Pied Piper would enjoy this collection of doom pipes. What about this one? Another doom pipe. 4 doom pipes, man. Doom pipe eternal, eh? Doom pipe eternal. Let's put this here. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna put some more stuff to free up some room. This. Let's check this one. Defense, crit damage, poison. Defense, crit damage, electric. I don't know. I'm gonna use the poison, I guess. Oh, look, the one right now gives me relic energy generation. The other one is endurance again, and more defense. Should I go for that with more defense? Oh, never mind. This one is a different set, that's why I'm using it. So might as well check that one here. And we've made some room. How does this build look to you guys? Does it look like a build that might be fun for you to play when I play it? I'm gonna show you another map. I can tell you it feels fun. It feels fun to play this. More fun than I expected, and it feels stronger than I expected. I expected to not do much damage. But with my shitty DPS on the weapon I'm using, and not even using Butt Seekers, so I'm not even benefiting from 25% extra damage from Butt Seekers, yet still the damage I'm doing seems sufficient. And mind you, I've only got 4 points into Spike Drive, so I'm not even maxing out Spike Drive. I'm relying on Pound and Throat Swing more, and maybe I should just remove those 4 points, put 4 points here. But yeah, this one seems pretty solid. This one does almost as much damage as level 6 Spike Drive, although this is level 10. This one also does almost as much. But this one also does a secondary damage. Alright, let's do this. It's a bit hard to play this build because I mean, I still haven't figured out the perfect rotation. What would be the perfect rotation, because it's all about timing. So I'm just randomly using whatever skill is ready. Obviously trying to slow the enemies and trying to use vulnerability when ready. Now yeah, for the damage I'm doing 15,000, which is 7.4k on a weapon that's far from perfect. I'm very happy with that. Look at that, this one's actually even chopping enemies decently quickly. The damage numbers are not high. But it's a Blood Drinker build after all. So it's I wasn't expecting it to be doing much damage in any case. This one with a 20,000 damage weapon should be able to do a ton of DPS. Oh, I see now. Torque Swing works in a very weird way, where I press it and it starts walking and it doesn't cast it until it's within range. Like now, I pressed Torque Swing and until it was within range, it didn't cast it. It moved like 2 steps or 3 steps to get in range. Which makes no sense, honestly, so now I'm gonna have to make sure whenever I'm using Torque Swing to be pressing Shift, so that it does it on the spot instead of walking, because it ruins the momentum. Oh, and now I'm stuck. I'm stuck now inside of the wall. Seriously? Now I have to enable the chat. Perfect, you can't cast stuck in the Fazir dungeon. Amazing. How did I get this to happen? I mean, I don't always get stuck, but when I do get stuck, it's OP stuck. The struck kind of stuck. And oh, that's why he was on normal. I was wondering why it was so fucking easy with this hero. I just realized he was on normal. This makes sense why with low damage numbers I was surviving. I'm wondering why this hero was in normal in the first place. It seemed too good to be true. It seemed too good to be true. Now I'm gonna see the real deal of this setup, which, as expected, probably won't be anywhere as strong as it was now. things seem to be dying pretty quickly, and I wasn't seeing high damage numbers, and I was wondering what the hell was going on. Thankfully I just realized it was on normal. Now I'm not gonna be doing as much damage. But yeah, I'm gonna do one more map after this one with this hero, and then I'm switching to something else. Same map, let's see now. Definitely feels more realistic now. When... oh, what was that damage I just did? Seemed like a lot. There we go. Okay. Definitely takes longer to kill stuff now than some of the other builds I've been playing the past couple of days. And today I made a lot of fun stuff today with some of the other builds by adding Imbue Relic and reworking the skills slightly. But Imbue Relic is definitely a great tool to have on your build. And yeah, I'm so glad it finally dropped yesterday so I can start experimenting with it. It's one of the best toys I've gotten for my build making purposes in this game, Imbue Relic. It's exceptionally good for aura builds to keep the aura upkeep maximized. Still wondering what would be better way to do the points. More spike drive or more pound. I would also need to find the leg armor. I would need what's its name? Ancient Ember leg armor, Ancient Ember pants, that's what I need, Ancient Ember pants. I've got the threads for forged, but I need the legs for the other classes. It's gonna be very good with rain, with this build. For now I'm not having problems surviving, so the Winter Weave gauntlets are not as needed, but I do think they're pretty good on every build for later. level pushing. AVG said, hello, I finally started pressure shot forged and I'm not sure about the meaning of the tier 3 skill. When the skill says that every fourth shot of the skill crits and deals double damage. Means every see, you're shooting 4 times with pressure shot. So pressure shot once, pressure shot twice, pressure shot 3 times, and the 4th time you shoot pressure shot, you would always crit and you would always do double damage. Meaning your crits, let's say your normal crit is 100,000. When you do your 4th shot, it will always crit and it will always be double that, so it would be 200,000. That's what it should mean, unless it's misleading. But yeah, that's how I personally understand it. So if you crit on either of the 3 first shots, you would crit for X. If you crit, actually you will always crit on the 4th shot, and the 4th shot would be X times 2. Your normal crit damage times 2. That's not working for you. I might test it eventually, see if it really works that way, but that's how it's supposed to work. That's interesting. How much is your crit damage? How much is your crit damage as percent? Not as a number, as percent on the stats. Like if you open your stats and you scroll over here where it says crit damage, where was it? Crit damage. Does it say plus 150%, plus 180? What's that number there? I'm wondering. This shouldn't have any effect. It shouldn't have any effect on your crits, but test it and tell me. Maybe it's written in a weird way, and maybe it always does 200% damage. And if your crits are higher than 200%, maybe it's never gonna do better. So let's say this one is under 200%, then maybe it's gonna be higher than your regular crit. I'm not sure exactly what it means. Does it mean it always crits and does a 200% damage crit? Or does it mean it always crits and it does your crit times 2? I need to ask the developers what they mean with this and if it's broken, but I'm gonna have to wait for the next time there's a Mayhem Monday or whatever other Discord session with the devs. Would be good to investigate this, because it could mean either of the two things. It could either mean, as I said, double your regular crit, or it could mean crit for double your regular damage, which could be less than your actual crit, and that would mean your actual crit probably replaces this. Normal hit, it's 433. Okay, 433. Normal crit is 1132. Okay. Make sure you know which one is your fort. Make sure the counting, you know when it resets. When number 4 is. It doesn't matter whether your weapon is melee or not. Oh, your weapon doesn't your weapon doesn't affect your crit. What decides your crit on the chest skill is the chest gun. You're looking at the chest gun for a pressure shot. So what you're looking for is the stats on cannon. When it says cannon or chest gun or whatever, it's gonna say plus or minus. If it says minus, it means remove that number from your weapon crit damage. If it says plus, that means take your weapon crit damage, add that, and then you get the actual cannon crit damage number. It's very weird how they're doing it. It's very confusing, and I have no idea why they think that's a good idea to display the cannon stats, to display them with plus or minus in conjunction to the regular ones. It's weird, but you get used to it. You get used to it. It's just not clear because you have to do the maths. You have to either open a calculator or calculate in your head how much is your extra crit damage if you add it or remove it from your weapon one. And Merry Christmas to Nio13. Shout out to Nio13. Shout out to Nio13. He didn't say this time, I beat him to it. But yeah, Merry Christmas to you and to everyone else watching. Happy holidays to everyone. Okay, let's change characters. You're saying the third bonus is not working as written. Let me test it myself. I'm gonna go here and quickly put pressure shot just so I can test it myself. I should have respectacles, right? 9 respectacles. That should be enough. I'm gonna test it on my end to see how it is. So you're saying pressure shot doesn't work the way it's supposed to. It's completely possible. It's a new reworked skill. New and reworked skill, meaning it might just not work the way it's mentioned it works. Okay, let's put pressure shot here and let's test it. First I need to respec. Okay, let's do it.
Can't cast that here.
Ah shit. Okay, now let's test. 13,900 something crit. $13,900. It's exactly the same. It's not doing double damage. For sure. There is nothing double about the damage. But first of all, I wanna check. 189. So see, this is under 200. So even if it was supposed to get me to 200, it still doesn't. So yeah, as you said, there's nothing double about this, but at least it's always critting, I think. And now it's gonna be number 4. Number 4. It didn't even crit. And number 4. Yeah, it doesn't even always crit. I think it's just broken. The whole bonus is broken. It doesn't even always crit for me every 4th pressure shot. In any case, it needs to be reported and it needs to be investigated. I'm gonna go on... which one do you want me to play, folks? Disc Mage with Cold Heart, Flaming Destroyer, Sharpshooter, Flaming Destroyer, Dusk Mage, Electric, Electrode, Sharpshooter. One of those, not the Bane Master. I don't feel like playing it right now because I have to change items. So, Electrode Sharpshooter, Flaming Destroyer Sharpshooter, Flaming Destroyer Dusk Mage, or Cold Heart Dusk Mage. I'm letting you folks decide which one you want to see. I'm gonna play them all. In the next 2.5 hours, I'm gonna play them all. But I'm open to suggestions. And yeah, the thing that AVG said, even if you have +2 barrage skills, you can still fully level it and do more damage. This is something that they added with the Goblins and Gear patch, if I'm not mistaken. Over leveling skills. And yeah, you level it over level 10. And you do more damage. But everything else doesn't go up, and you don't see it in the tooltip, but it's supposed to do more damage. But it's weird because I'm not noticing this for every single skill. I'm not noticing this change for every skill. I'm gonna try and demonstrate it now with, for example, Absolver. I'm gonna try and demonstrate how it doesn't change the damage. Or at least maybe in Absolver it does change the damage, but it doesn't change the damage for every single skill I've tried. I can't say I've tried every single skill, but I'm gonna try and demonstrate it. So look at my Absolver damage right now. Wait, where's my damage? Am I seeing damage? What happened? I should see the damage numbers. Is it lagging or what? There's no damage numbers. What the hell happened? Why are there no damage numbers? Okay, I'm gonna remove the damage numbers, and then I'm gonna reapply the damage numbers, and maybe that's gonna fix it. No damage numbers. What the? Why are there no damage numbers? What suddenly happened? I'm gonna restart the game. This seems broken. I mean, we had damage numbers until recently. Like, just before I switched heroes, there were damage numbers. Do I have no weapon equipped? Maybe I don't have a weapon equipped and that's why. I think that's what happened. I just have no weapon and that's why no damage numbers. Yeah, there we go. There's no weapon. Because my weapon went to the sharpshooter, and then from the sharpshooter to the realm master, which means I need to go on the realm master quickly first to transfer the weapon and shield. I hate having to change my weapons like this all the time. I wish I could just access the weapons of one hero and take them with another hero without needing to use shared stash or anything like this. Just to grab them, just to have access to what's equipped on my current hero from the other ones. It's much better if it works that way. To have a common arsenal, and that two heroes could be wearing the exact same weapon until it's destroyed. So now I have to go in the shared stash, and I have to put. Let's find 2 slots. Come on, I need 2 slots. There's 1 slot here. Actually, I'm not liking this 1 slot. I'm gonna do it like this. Putting here, and then here. Not a fan of all this swapping weapons thing. But I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna test it now. The thing I wanted to test. This extra damage after level 10, and you're supposed to be able to level up a skill to level 20. So With extra skill points, if you get 10 extra skill points to that one skill, you should be able to get extra damage, but just damage, nothing else. No extra cooldown, no extra duration, just the damage. So let's check this. Let's check where is that? Over here. There we go. Let's test it now. Let's test it now. So you can see this is doing 27,000 and 24,900. 24,900. Now I'm gonna do some respecking. For example, let's remove 4 points here. I've got plenty of spectacles. Let's put 2 points into this one. And it's doing 26,000, so I'm getting extra damage. It's 718% weapon damage. If I remove the points, it's 672%. They actually fixed it. They actually fixed it to show up on the weapon tooltip. And that's pretty good. So that means I can take some skill points and for example, I don't think I need those points right now, the Energizer points. If I take my Energizer points and put them over here and then over here, that should do it. All right. So they've done it and fixed it so you can actually see this on the tooltip now. But it's been a while. It's been a while since the Gear and Goblins patch, so it's nice to know. Andrew Tsarik says, which is the best robot build, Flame or Blood? Well, Electrode's not a bad one. Electrode and Flaming Destroyer are better for damage. Blood Drinker is better for healing. The Poison Relic Bane is better for defense stacking. Cold Heart is, well, Cold Heart is Cold Heart. It's good for freezing and crowd control. And that's kind of all it is, and you can't freeze bosses, so it's not terrible, but it's not amazing either. But yeah, this over leveling of skills is intended, and it's not a bug. Over leveling of skills is intended to go up to level 20. So if you have extra 10 levels, 2 from the set and maybe 3 from helmet and maybe 3 from weapon or 6 from weapon or 4 from weapon and 4 from helmet, you should be able to get stronger damage on a certain skill. You cannot switch from Flaming Destroyer to Electrode, but Flaming Destroyer and Electrode are both good. Flaming Destroyer is not bad. Don't think that Electrode is better than Flaming Destroyer or Flaming Destroyer is better than Electrode. Electrode has a different way of building. With Electrode you're building around proccing, around doing as many hits per second as you can. First of all, I don't know whether you want to do a ranged build or a melee build. Whether you want to do a relic based build or a robot based build. So with the Flaming Destroyer you're stacking AoE. You still can do a proc monster build with the Flaming Destroyer and it's not gonna be terrible. It's gonna be pretty decent. Just a moment, I'm pouring some water. But yeah, with the Forged, both Electrode and Flaming Destroyer are strong, as long as you know how to build them. Pressure shot is my favorite Steam spender, and I love pressure shot. I think pressure shot and uppercut are the better ranged and melee. I think critical mass is not as bad. Critical mass is amazing. I think fracking strike is a little bit underwhelming. So from all four Steam spenders, the basic attack is the fifth one, but I don't count this one right now. So from all forged class skills Steam spenders, fracking strike seems to be the weakest out of all of them. The hardest one to make a build around is critical mass. The easiest ones to make builds around, and probably the strongest ones, would be pressure shot and uppercut. Especially with uppercut and servo blade, you get a very straightforward build, but pressure shot is my favorite from all those four skills that use Steam. So I would do Vortex Bomb and Pressure Shot as my suggestion for strong build for Forged. Vortex Bomb gives you a lot of defense, so you have no problem surviving. And Pressure Shot is a lot of damage per second. Especially if you stack damage to Pressure Shot on your items, you can do massive crits, huge crits. And since you can do multiple casts of pressure shot per single reservoir of steam, and that's pretty strong. You're level 20 and you're a ranged build, then pressure shot is the way to go, my man. Get pressure shot and get vortex bomb. In fact, I would suggest max out Vortex Bomb before you max out Pressure Shot. Get Vortex Bomb tier 3 for that cooldown, then get Fracking Strike tier 2 for that cooldown. That way Vortex Bomb would be the only thing you need to vent. And it would have a decent enough cooldown. So you wouldn't need to use two venting skills. And yeah, prioritizing the cooldown of the vent is, in my opinion, the most important thing while leveling a Forged. The more you vent, the more you use Steam. Even if your Steam skill doesn't do as much damage right away, at least you can use it more often if you vent more often. So the cooldown reduction from Fracking Strike tier 2 would really help all sorts of other things. It should help with ramming robot, but it doesn't. But it's also gonna help with all sorts of other cooldown things, forged cooldown things, such as power projection, sonic pulse. Sonic pulse tier 3 is also important. Sonic pulse tier 3 probably is not as important as tier 3 pressure shot, but Sonic Pulse tier 1, actually not tier 1, Sonic Pulse level 1 is something you want to get as soon as possible. If you're level 20, you must have at least level 1 Sonic Pulse, at least level 3 ramming robot, at least level 1 power projection, and ideally max level Vortex Bomb. I can try and show you how your skills should look at level 20, in my opinion, while leveling up. As a suggestion, let me just open my browser. So we're going Forged, and you said you're Flaming Destroyer, right? Forged. Let me share my browser with you. So for a Forged Flaming Destroyer, let's switch to Flaming Destroyer. I'm gonna drink some water in the meantime. Okay, just a moment. So first of all, I'm gonna assume you don't have +1, +2 skill levels. If you don't have +1, +2 skill levels, it will have to be like this. And this. And then... So you get 1 point at level 5 extra, 1 extra point at level 10. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 4 points. So you should have 24 total points, meaning you probably would have something like this. And let's say something like this. That's what I would have if I were to be a Flaming Destroyer forged at level 20 with the 24 points total. I would have this one level, these 3 levels, these 6 levels, these 10 levels, this 1 level, and this 1 level. That's what I would have at level 20. And eventually from here on I would be putting points here until this is maxed out. And then after this I would put this to level to the middle level to tier 2, and then after that I would go ahead and put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and this one maxed out, and then eventually I would level this one up. Obviously, you might want to put at level 21 1 point into Summoning Smash. At level 21. And then eventually you probably would want to get tier 1 Summoning Smash. At the same time you get Firestorm. But yeah, it's something like this. And eventually you're gonna remove 2 points from here, you're gonna remove 2 points from here, you're gonna remove 2 points from here, and then you can remove 2 points from here, or keep them, remove 2 points from here. In fact, maybe keeping those 2 points even with the extra +2 levels would be better. But yeah, that's roughly what your build could look like when you're max level. You have extra 13 points, so maybe you can do this. And oh yeah, this, let's not forget this. And there's 3 points left. With those 3 points you can do this. That's not gonna be bad. Okay, I hope this helps you roughly kind of figure out what you might want to do while leveling up, how to go on about it. But don't switch to Electrode, and don't delete the hero. And the worst thing you could do would be to delete the hero, obviously. If you wanna switch to Electrode, sure, make a new hero, play it. But it's good to have both of them, Electrode and Flaming Destroyer. They provide different ways of building a hero. They give you different skills as a subclass skill. They give you different passive as a subclass passive. But Flaming Destroyer Forged is pretty fun. Chmiewu Lead says, do you have any Bane Sharpshooter guides? Yes, I do have some, a bit outdated, so if you want something more recent, I can do it on the spot. The same way I did it for Andrew about the forged. I can try and make something for you. I just need to know what type of build you need. Do you want to play Summoner? Keep in mind, summons are meant to be meat shields. Summons are not meant to do damage, because right now you can't focus fire. Yes, you can do decent damage with summons if and only if you can make every single summon attack the same exact target. If you can get every single summon to focus the same target and you have like 30, 40, 50 summons up at the same time, which is achievable with items. With certain item combinations you can probably have more than 50 summons up at the same time. Like you can get 10 skeletons from the Sword of the Lost Legion, then there's Bone Razor, Bone Walker, another 10 skeletons, and that's already 20 just from items. Then there's 8 goblins. Then there's Shasta, then there's the archers that shoot, then there's Spiders and spiderlings. There's a lot of stuff you can get as summons. And then there's the pet summons. The pet can summon Bijou and Simon. The pet can also summon, when they fix it, summon Flock and Assemble and Necropupper, which is 3 summoning skills just from the pet, which don't work. This works, those 2 don't yet. So eventually even 60 pets might be achievable if you consider the amount of spiders. If you want full summoner build, keep in mind you're not gonna get damage from summons. Summons are meat shields right now, so don't rely on it being meta or strong, but I can make you a summoner build the same way I just made that forge setup. So I can share it. I can try and make you one. Keep in mind I'm gonna include a damage skill, which would be your actual damage. I'm gonna include targeted strikes, which is very decent. Another thing you could try is Onslaught. Onslaught is not bad as a summoner setup, but probably it's better if you go for targeted strikes. So even if it's at level 1, targeted strikes is not bad. But if you want full summoner build, first you want Goblin Legion, then you would want Shasta. On any build you want Shasta tier 2. Then 1 point here, at least 1 point here. Actually I'm gonna put 4 points here. 4 plus 2. Whenever you see 8, it means 8 plus 2 from passives. I'm gonna put Revolt because I think it's worth it. Although you probably don't need to put a point into it. So if you want full summon, then Miasma is amazing. This one is optional. It's only 25 million damage and you already get 100 here. But it's not bad. Here you would probably want the spider, at least the spider. You might not want to level this more than 3 if you don't need to, but the spider is good. If you want more spiders, you can get 8-legged allies, which is pretty underwhelming as a skill, but it summons. And now, how many skills is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You've got two more things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 skills. If you include Revolt, that's 8, and then one more skill would be 9. So you can either use Rizzy, which I don't think it's amazing. I think it's pretty shitty. The Rizzy tier 3. I think it's better to use Scout's Bones, and I would do it like that. Scout's Bones with this pistol with the infectious shooter, pretty similar to my infectious summoner, and then I would put Spread of Death, and then I would put this maxed out, and then I would put this maxed out, and then you have one more point which you can put wherever you want. If you don't want Spread of Death, which I think it could be good with the infectious shooter. Basically, what you're gonna do is you're using Scout's Bones, which triggers infectious shooter. Then you're using Revolt, which resets the cooldown of Scout's Bones, and then you use Scout's Bones again, second time. Then you use Revolt a second time. Then you use Scout's Bones a third time. This is gonna be a lot of proccing, a lot of damage from Spread of Death. That's one way of doing it. If you don't want Scout's Bones, just focus on targeted strikes. Spam targeted strikes, and in the meantime you're spamming Goblin Legion, you're spamming Shasta, and you're spamming Miasma, which summons spiders, and this summons spiders, and this summons spiders. If you and this gives you extra 100% damage. Then you're gonna want a Sword of the Lost Legion. You want Sword of the Lost Legion equipped, and then you want Bone Razor and Bone Walker. You can equip Bone Razor and Bone Walker, which are a shield and sword, and that gives you another 10 summons. Another option is, if you don't want Bone Razor, Bone Walker, is to get the Frost Wall. Frost Wall, I'm gonna show you in the game. Frost Wall is something that reduces the cooldown of Sword of the Lost Legion. So you can get 25 or 50% cooldown reduction. It doesn't work right now. It's bugged. Not the shield. Sword of the Lost Legion is bugged. Sword of the Lost Legion right now doesn't get cooldown from Frost Wall. But Frost Wall gives you cooldown to all sorts of different things. See, this one instead of 60 seconds is 20 seconds. Because I get 50 seconds from the shield. I mean, I get 50% from the shield and 10% from Dark Spear's cooldown reduction. So that's 60% cooldown reduction, which means the same thing should happen for Sword of the Lost Legion, which right now it doesn't. I'm gonna quickly test something for you. Just checking if the Disc Mage and Trainee is inviting me. Just a moment, Trainee. I'm gonna Sword of the Lost Legion, where did it go? Sword of the Lost Legion. Sword of the Lost Legion, I want to see if the Disc Mage reduces the cooldown. But this is what Sword of the Lost Legion looks like. And see, it's still 60 seconds cooldown, so that 10% cooldown doesn't affect it, but you can see that's 10 summons. 10 summons every 60 seconds. Yes, you put it on your skill bar, so you have to find a slot for it. But it's amazing. I mean, there's a lot of ways to build, and I'm just surprised how good certain things are, but summons are not amazing. Summons need some loving, but they're not meant to be doing damage. The developers themselves have said if they make summons stronger, they would have to make them squishier to balance things out. So for now, summons are meat shields. But if they add this little quality of life feature, which I've been asking for a very long time to add, a hotkey, a dedicated button hotkey for focus attack of the pet and any minions. Anything that's under your command, click that button and they attack what's under your cursor. If there's no enemy, then they move there. And welcome back, Trainee. Good morning to you, Trainee. Just a moment. Merry Christmas to Trainee. He's saying if I'm on Discord. I'm not on my Discord, but I can be. I can be on Discord, but you're probably... just a moment. I'm gonna add you. I'm gonna go... I'm gonna be on my own Discord server, but we can do a private session on Discord if you want. We can do a private session if you want. If you're in my own Discord server, I'm on Squad Chat 1. Squad. Actually, it's not Squad Chat 1, it's Squad. But I'm not sure. Yeah, actually, it works. It works. If not, you can add me. I can post my own Discord. Just give me a moment. You can add me on Discord. It's this number. Either that or just join the server and hop on. Keep in mind, my teammate, my stream would not hear you. You're muted on my stream. Sometimes when there's streams and there's the streamer and the other people can be heard, it can be a cacophony. And keep in mind, when I talk, sometimes I would start talking to the stream and it might feel weird to you. Not everyone is used to being in Discord with streamers. Because I might cut you off in the middle of something and it might seem rude. It's not gonna be meant to be rude if I do it. Let me know when you're on the Discord so I can give you permissions, because the bot doesn't always give permissions. Is it gonna be a private chat or oh, it's private chat. There we go. Then let me Hey, yo, you can hear me, right? And you don't hear yourself from Twitch, right? Just wanted to make sure. Yeah, I mean, I can make it. Look, test now. I can make it now. Now people should be able to hear you on Twitch.
I mean, it's fine. I don't mind either way,
Okay.
dude.
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I can hear you fine. Something really broken. I don't mind seeing something really broken. Three skills. Oh, you send me a picture. Yeah, that's broken. So yeah. Yeah, I once had 350 something thousand damage defense of lightning on a forged. Just removing the challenge bonus, that's the only way to fix it. But they can retain the same items, just remove the extra sockets and the extra challenge bonus. They don't have to delete the items, they can just delete the challenge bonus affixes. Cause yeah, if you can get 6 to dark skill levels, that can easily put you at 20 of a certain level, which is the limit of a level for over leveling. Obviously. They confirmed it. It goes up to 20. Over leveling, it goes up to 20. Yeah. What didn't work is you couldn't see the damage on every skill on the tooltip, and the thing is, on some skills you did get extra damage, but you couldn't see the tooltip. On other things, it didn't even give you damage, neither on the tooltip nor on the skill. I was just talking to my chat about this, about over leveling skills. And I just tested it with Absolver. I didn't test with every skill, but Absolver did get extra damage from level 10 plus 2 compared to 8 plus 2. And it did show up on the tooltip. It's worth it for your two major damage skills. So for me it's Absolver and Entropy. For you it could be Entropy and Holy Bolt, Entropy and Light. I don't know what your light skill is. What do you use to build your light bar? Radiant Blast. Alright, then do it for Entropy and Radiant Blast. Are you using Entropy with Molten Reach or without? Molten Reach gives it double damage, but 8 seconds cooldown, which goes down to 7.2 seconds. I don't have it either. It's amazing, man. It's amazing if you have something like Absolver or Radiant Blast to spam in between. Because double the projectiles for builds on things like Electrode means double the procs. And yeah, it would be once every 7.2 seconds. I mean, right now it's nice to use Entropy as a spam skill because they remove the mana cost increase. It was awful on casting speed builds. It was okay on every other build that doesn't use casting speed. So builds that don't use Conjure Electrode or the Liu General or the 1000 volt burst. But whenever I was stacking casting speed, I would run out of mana super quickly. And since they removed the mana cost reduction affixes, before I would stack mana cost That's what I was talking about in my stream earlier, about an item that makes it so that let's give you that example I gave people earlier. Let's say you reach 100, you reach, let's say it takes you 10 seconds to reach full dark skills bar. And let's say you take a new item that makes it to take 20 seconds to reach dark, but it also reaches light at the same time. So you can make a full dark or full light build by only using that. So it's gonna take twice as long to build it, but it's gonna build both bars at the same time, and it would be worth it to sacrifice a legendarium SWAT for something like that to open up full dark and full light builds. I have so many ideas, but I keep forgetting to write them into notes. Yeah, note, N-O-L-T. But people don't do that. It's better to just email them. Who do you mean with Bean? She listens a lot, and she's the community manager. So if you write some emails, maybe she would read it and she would send it to the proper channels. Yeah, things change. What data do you need? Okay, yeah. I just wish they would make it. What should I say? Transparent on the enchant screen. That would be the best thing, so you can see the minimum and maximum that you can get for each stat. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly, and see, sometimes I would get 900 defense and then I would get 3000. I'm like, what? Or I would get 1000 defense and then I would get 4000. And I'm like, how the hell? Like, how do I even get on a level 60 item 900 defense as an enchantment? How is that even a thing? Okay, celestial gauntlets, those are not bad, but yeah. Consecration? Yeah. You told me last time, yeah. There's a fun build with that healing and then with the healing from Holy Fury and Vitality Extractor. And if you combine that with Bloodseekers and the healing from Bloodseekers on a Blood Drinker build, that's pretty fun. Yeah. So you don't mind the grind of the boring, repetitive end game. Yeah, if you're used to World of Warcraft, the grind in this game shouldn't bother you. You should have a black belt in grind if you're used to playing World of Warcraft. You should have a black belt in grinding, so you should be fine with this game. Well, It's you get used to it. You get used to it. That's interesting. Have you played Chaos Bane, trainee? Okay. Chaos Bane is not bad, but there's not much items, not much build diversity. Yeah, you have probably 4 separate distinctive builds for every class. But and you have a little bit more endgame than this game. You have well, you have boss rushes, which are not very rewarding, but if you want a challenge, you can redo the bosses from the acts and just do them on the difficulty you choose. So there's like from normal, then there's hard, very hard, and then chaos 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 separate OP difficulties. You can always switch between one and the other. And then you have expeditions, which is basically a regular map without any specific bonuses to it. Then there's relic hunts, which you have to pick modifiers of the map. And then there's upgraded relic hunts, which is like a relic hunt, but with 3 chests at the end, and you have to fight enemies to unlock chests. So the more enemies you kill, the more wood quality you get, which means the better the chance of getting legendary, not legendary, heroic items is. And you have certain thresholds, 1, 2, 3, and as you reach those thresholds, you unlock 1, 2, or 3 chests at the end of the map. I'm gonna stream some Chaos Bane on the 28th, and you can kind of figure out whether it's something you would like. But there aren't that many items. Well, again, with endgame, you're doing Tower of Chaos, which is survival. You go in a tower, and the higher you go, if you die, that's it. You don't get anything. Whenever you want, you can exit and take rewards and leave. Not that I know of. From what I know, there's no limit. But it's not rewarding. Basically, I do 1 level and I collect and I do it for keys. And those keys, those coins, I use to make upgraded relic hunts, where is the good wood. Then there's invasions, which is basically like a big map, always preset. So you start from normal, then you go hard, very hard, etc. And it's like forking out. Let me just bring up a screenshot on the screen. So you can see what I'm talking about. Screenshots, Warhammer. Okay, I need to change the view. Yeah, Warhammer Chaos Bane. I'm gonna try and find you. I'm just not sure where I've got screenshots of the invasions, but I should have them somewhere. Diablo 4 will be better than 3 from what I've seen so far, from what they've announced. That's what Diablo 4 is. Diablo 4 will be going back to Diablo 2 in many ways. Even the potion system seems to be similar to Diablo 2, but I think it's gonna be like Torchlight, because you're looting potions, but they're gonna have cooldown, I think, as well. I like Diablo 3's potion system. That's actually one of the few things in Diablo 3 I actually like, the potion system. Where is the stupid Invasion 3 screenshot? You know what? It's gonna be easier. Oh, that's the Invasion skill 3. So it's not actually skill 3, but you can get some skill. So this is the Invasion. You start from the top. You can't see it on the screenshot. Yeah, it's on the stream, but just... Okay, and that's it. Just a moment. So you can see at the top here. You can't see clearly, but here at the top there's a level over here. And that's a stage, and each one of those is a different map with preset modifiers, affixes, and preset difficulty. And it goes stronger and stronger and stronger, and each of those checkpoints here gives you a different buff or debuff for the monsters. And there's a corruption, which drains your HP over time. Every second you take 1, 2, up to 10% HP per second. But you can take corruption resistance, which is up to 60%. So a 10% HP per second goes down to 4% HP per second. And then you unlock certain special skills that you just need to unlock them once. This one, and this one that are passive skills. This one is passive potion skills, which give you damage or healing or health buff for a few seconds after using a potion. This one gives you green rings. And every time you have different levels of invasion. So there's rank 1, 2, etc. An unlimited number of ranks. And for example, what you do is you push on rank 10. You don't do rank 1 at the start, you start from rank 10. And right before you collect the ring, you stop here. You finish this map and then you stop. Then you go back to rank 1, everything will be completed until here. Then you click on the ring, then you go back to rank 2, click on the ring. So that way you collect faster. That way you're saving your time. But if you collect this ring on rank 10, then you're losing 10 rings from rank 1 to 9, which is pretty bullshit. But and this is very outdated because the enemy difficulty goes up to Chaos 6 on the highest few nodes, and the game goes up to Chaos 9. So that's one of the problems of Chaos Bane. They really need to rework this. But it's not a bad game, and it has invasions, it has the regular mapping kind of rifting thing, which is Relicants, it has the survival mode, and that's a game that launched last June, so a year and a half ago. And the problem is itemization sucks. The itemization sucks, and there's no item rerolling, and item rerolling would be the best thing they can add to Chaos Bane. So it's a very Diablo 3 style game. When it comes to respecking, it's free of charge, unlimited. You can respec as much as you want. Your passive points, your active points. It's not a bad game, it's very underrated as a game, Chaos Bane. But the problem is the game is pretty much dead in regards to co-op. Yeah, there is public matchmaking, but the problem is there is also cheating. So if you're doing public matchmaking, you have to be careful of people using trainers or cheating engines, because the save data is local. I think the one thing I'm willing to accept is them resetting everything once, full wipe once, and starting online only, optionally to start. I'm willing to accept having to start over once in Chaos Bane if I know there would be server migration or something like that. But I don't see that ever happening unless the game somehow magically gets thousands of people playing and buying it, and they have money to pay for servers. Did you? Was it when you told me that the Ingert ancestors can kill you? Yeah. It happens. It happens with Blue Gear. And Pierce said, OMG, not OMG, each one is a different map. OMG, I'm gonna lose my mind. Pierce Leviathan, they're not really different maps, just differently arranged layouts of the same map. That's what Chaos Bane is. It doesn't have that much map variety, but they've been adding more map variety and more randomization. And he's asking, Struck, will you feed the cat special treat for Christmas? Well, he got 11 kilograms of food, and he only needs like 57 grams a day. So no specific special treat. He only eats dry food. I tried giving him some wet food that came as a bonus present for him with one of the food that I got him. It's special diet food for his kidneys because he has chronic kidney disease. And they gave him with some of the dry food some wet food, and he didn't want to eat it. I'm gonna try and force feed him to see, because he didn't want to eat his dry food at first, but then he ate it and now he loves it. So maybe it just smelled different to him at first. But yeah, I mean, he's a little bit, how do I say it, capricious, very picky when it comes to his food. I'm having whack with my stash. I can't pull up page 1. I can pull up page 3, page 2, not page 1. I'm not sure why. Page 1, okay, never mind. Page 1 loaded. Okay, I'm gonna grab this. And I wanna put some stuff in the storage, because I don't have room for wood. Oh yeah, you can't sacrifice items to your own tree. That's super boring. You have to go to someone else's tree to sacrifice. Another thing I don't like with the Tree of Work is I don't like Tree of Work level 5. It's too big. I want to be able to have a level 5 Tree of Work, but to make it look like a level 4 Tree of Work or level 3. Level 4 is the one I like the most. It's not too big, it's not too small. It doesn't cover my whole camera when I'm near it. I can see stuff around it. I don't have to put it in the corner. But yeah, it would be nice if you could donate to your own Tree of Work after maxing it out and get some work bonus. Coffee says, should I pick up this game? Wow, it's on sale right now. Or is it as bad as everybody says? It's definitely not as bad as everybody says. Whether it's a good game for you, it depends. But for 50% off, I think it's a good deal. I mean, even my teammate, he says, oh yeah, so yeah, he agrees. I mean, it depends. It's not everyone's cup of tea. And there's not much endgame. So, for example, if you're the type of person that wants to play the same hero for a month, 2 months before he moves to a different build, maybe you're gonna get bored because there's not that much endgame diversity, and it's gonna get very grindy and boring. And that's a big but. There's a lot of build diversity, and if you play 1, 2 weeks, 3 weeks on the same build, then you get bored and you play another build, you have hundreds of different build combinations. Whether it's just changing one skill or 2 skills, or changing your subclass, or changing both the class and the subclass, you can make big or small changes and change your items to give you different behavior of a certain skill. There's many ways you can do things. And they keep adding new items. Since the game launched, they've added 2 new complete full sets, and a mini set for weapons and offhands, and a bunch of other weapons that are not set related. And Guillermo, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, Guillermo Hippolito. Let's say Hippolito, because I'm probably gonna butcher your name with my bad pronunciation. So Hippolito says, how can I reset my skills? You can't do a full reset, but you can use a currency called Respectacles, which removes one level at a time. You need to create a skill station and then use this item called Respectacles. Every 5 levels you level up, from level 5 to level 60, you should get one Respectacle. You can also buy it for 2500 gold coins from the potion seller, from the consumable vendor. So one Respectacle, 2500 gold. And every 10 contract levels after finishing a specific contract and starting the repeatable, every 10 contract levels you get one Respectacle around level 6 or 7 or whatever of that whoop, repeatable whoop. And you can just go to the skill station, and then there's gonna be a red arrow. I can show you in the town. A red arrow at the, I think, top right corner of the screen. When you click that red arrow, actually it's not arrow, it looks like a star, a red star. And you click that one, and that removes one level from the skill. Where is the boss? Is it invisible? And there we go. I think they wanted to include something for the Fazier that's supposed to motivate people, and they wanted to do it before the end of the year, before the Christmas sale, and they wanted to make people more motivated before the year is over. And whether it was rushed, I think yes. I think they rushed this challenge bonus system, and I think they should have gotten more feedback from people before putting this into the game. Because now people are not gonna be happy if this gets removed, but I think it's for the best if this gets removed and replaced by a different power creep system that has nothing to do with your items. Alright, I'm gonna switch builds quickly, so if you want you can wait in this fort, but yeah, I'm gonna have to switch quickly to... What should I go? I feel like Flaming Destroyer. Let's do Flaming Destroyer, Sharpshooter. But coffee, it's definitely not as bad as people say. At least I can be realistic about the game, and I can tell you that it has a lot of good things about it, but it also has a few bad things that I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of the wife bound system. It's super shitty, and it should be, instead of losing an item, it should be durability dropping, and then you need to repair it by finding special resources. Or by using essence. In any case, it would be better if you lose durability based on the difficulty you play. So you're on ridiculous, you die, you lose all the durability. You're on hard, you die, you lose half of it. You're on normal, you die, you maybe lose 30% or 40% or something. It can be done differently. That's one way of doing it. I actually like the old system where you find the life bound item and then you use the scroll to make it not life bound but retain the stats. Although that was a bit overpowered because yeah, you retain the stats without the risk. So I understand. For what? For the wife bound? For the percentage, they can make it only work in Fazier, and that's gonna be fine. But that's also gonna mean that gear that you get from anywhere else is not good for the Fazier. And when they add more endgame activities, then what's the point? It's okay, but it's boring having to do different activities to earn items for those activities. You're gonna have to switch sets. I mean, I'm not saying we don't have wardrobes and it's not gonna be that difficult to just go to one wardrobe and that's gonna be my Fazier set. Then I go to a different wardrobe which has slightly better stats, but better rolls, but it doesn't have the bonus percentages. then that's gonna be fine. Oh shit, that's a different hero. Okay, let me change difficulty. Actually, I'm gonna switch hero. This is not the hero. This hero doesn't have level 60, so I forgot it's not 60 yet. Okay, then let's do the other electrode sharpshooter. This one's 60. Yeah, I can change the difficulty, but it's boring for me when I'm just standing there waiting for someone else to do the killing. And it's not like I can't kill level 60 enemies or survive at level 56 hero. But I'm just gonna do it tomorrow. I'm gonna level up that hero tomorrow. Coffee says people didn't like the part that you can't move while using skills. Well, not all skills. I mean, there are still skills you can't move while using them because you're channeling. And it's pretty funny in a game where you're moving and channeling a beam while moving. It's gonna be overpowered to be able to channel a beam while moving. You can do that in WoW and you can do that in Diablo. I've not seen a single game allow me to channel a beam and move. And in this game, almost every single skill is channeled. Even the spin to win is channeled, but you can move while using spin to win, although not as fast as normal movement. It's for balancing purposes. If people don't like it, then play fucking shooters. Even in those, though, even in shooters you can't move while shooting with every single type of weapon in every single situation. Now I have to... Fuck this, I don't have enough items and I'm constantly changing 2 items, and now I have to go back to the mage to transfer those 2 items so I can play with those items on another hero. I should be able to take 2 items from the inventory of one hero to the inventory of another hero without using the stupid shared stash. I should be able to access what's equipped on one hero from the other hero. It's just unnecessary loading screens all the time. It's so fucking boring if you can't do it, if you can't access what's equipped on the other heroes. I'm online, but I'm on a hero that I just played, because I need to put my shield and mace away so I can... it's not loading? Okay, now it's loading. No. It's taking 10 seconds or 3-4 seconds to load my stash pages. It's broken. Probably. Wait, why do I have the North Mace? Oh, there's a bucket duplicate. It duped my item. Yeah, it duped my item. How did I do it? You can dupe in Diablo 2 as well, but how did it dupe my item? I think the wagging. In any case, let's see if it's duped. I mean, I'm gonna leave it be. I'm gonna switch heroes. Well, if it duped it, at least I wouldn't have to constantly switch heroes. But it didn't dupe the shield, just the weapon. And let's see that one. Fort, come on, fort. There we go. Yeah, that's the enchanting recipes have the +%, but it's not gonna do anything. I think they added this +% on consumables so that you can get stronger items from bundles. That's the only reason I would think of why you would allow on consumables to have. And yeah, the duped item is here. Not sure how we did it, but the North Maze did get duped and it was here. I'm not sure what I did, but well, duping. I hope people never figure out what I did and how, and why the item got duped, because it's just not fair. I think it's the wagging, exactly. It must be because of the different servers. Well, what happens is if you go back to my fort before me, my fort, when I go back to it, is already in the US server. So right now, this map I'm in is, it should be EU, because I think I'm the first to load into it. Yeah, it's EU. But if you were the first one to enter, and then I load after you, it would have been US. Oh, Space Freaks is here. Nice. Yeah, I know him. He's in my Discord, and he's been coming to my stream, so we know him. So yeah, I'm on the melee sharpshooter electrode build right now. The cross region performance definitely could use improvements, but that's probably not a priority for them. Cross region performance. But yeah, Europe seems to be fine. US seems to be fine. But when you go cross region, it's definitely better than before. I mean, before it used to be super rubber bandy. And when the game was early access, that's one of the main reasons why people gave the game bad reviews. The rubber banding, the connection problems, but it was early access back then, and that was expected. That helped them. That actually helped them make the game better for launch in regards to server rubber banding and all of those things. I mean, yeah. People shouldn't buy early access games if they're stupid enough to not know what early access means. Early access means broken, buggy, unfinished product. If people expect a non-broken, non-buggy, non-finished product, then they should not buy early access games. They should just buy only launch games. You should be an idiot to expect an early access game to not have a single bug, to not have a single broken thing, a single unfinished system, to not have wipes and things like that. That's just you being... Exactly. See, Pierce Leviathan says, what about Cyberpunk? See, Cyberpunk people deserve refunds. For Cyberpunk people deserve refunds because it was a launched product. For Wolsen, on day 1 and week 1 and week 2, people deserved refunds because it was a broken product. Because it was a rushed product. Because they launched 2/3 of the game without testing in Wolsen. Act 1 was the only thing that was tested. Skill 3, Ring 1 and Ring 2 were tested. Ring 3 was never tested. Out of 40 skills in Wolsen, 16 skills were never tested because they never gave us in the beta the chance to test them. Whereas Torchlight 3 did exactly the opposite. They gave people the broken, buggy stuff as early access. They used the feedback from early access to improve the game. And 6 months, or not 6 even, 4 months later, when they were ready for launch, a lot of things were better, much better. The Forge was almost ready reworked. They needed another 2 months to rework the Forge after launch. And those past 2 patches since the game launched were very good. I'm surprised with the amount of good things that came within the last 2 months for this game. for the size of this team that's working on it. Gear and Goblins, good patch. Of course, obviously it had bad things about it. This patch also very good patch. Obviously I don't like the power creep about it either. But overall, more good than bad. And constant fixes. And they're doing hot fixes every now and then when needed. But yeah, I mean, if people give this game bad reviews right now, and they have a valid reason to do it, sure. But if people are getting misled by early access reviews, that's a bad thing. If people are giving fake bad reviews without spending more than 20 hours in the game, I think you need to at least reach the end game, which probably takes like 10-15 hours depending on how slow you are. And then spend a few hours playing end game, checking certain synergies between items and skills and things like that. I mean, the game is not terrible, it's not bad, but it's not great. But it's definitely got a lot of potential, and if it's 50% off, it's a good bargain. It's a good bargain for the amount of time you can spend playing the game. Even if you just play the same class, you're still gonna have enough time playing it before you get bored. If you just rework the skills a little bit. Even for the same class / subclass, you can have multiple different build combos. I can play melee with this class. I can play ranged with precision. I can play adventurer without either melee or precision. I can play mostly relic stuff. Without doing much of the other things. I can do a build where I'm not putting points into the relic, which is kind of bad, but I can. I can go Localized Storm, or I can go Chaotic Strikes, or I can even go Conjure Electrode, which I don't like. Conjure Electrode probably is good on specific builds. Like on the melee build it might not be bad because of the attack speed that you get early on. Right now my build is all about Scout's Bone spamming. Electrode procs from spamming Scout's Bones. You got Molten Reach. Yeah. You can use the Winter Weave. The Winter Weave gives you magic find after killing an elite. You don't have it yet. It's nice. It's the one I normally use. Yeah. And the other one, you should be able to use a Hivit and Winter Weave, or if you can stack a Hivit and a Goblin and go into a map with Hivit and Goblins and get 2 buffs, then you should be able to do Winter Weave and the other one, because they trigger off of different things. Does it say Wacky Adventurer when you get the buff right now? Because the one from the Winter Weave is called Wacky Adventurer. I can't remember the other ones. And Pierce said, so you think they haven't given the game an honest chance? I can understand how for some people spending 1 or 2 or 3 hours would be enough to figure out whether it's the game for them, but that won't mean the game is bad, it would just mean it's not the game for them. In order to say whether a game is good or bad, you need to spend more time playing it. I can play a game for 3 or 4 hours, like the other day I played Crowfall, and I could tell you the combat is terrible, it's bad. But I'm not saying the game is bad, I'm just saying I don't like the combat, and I don't feel like torturing myself to play Crowfall any more than 3 or 4 hours, or however many hours I spent. The class I picked was very fucking difficult to play and to learn. The animation looked super unrealistic. Monsters were hitting me without the projectile actually impacting me. I couldn't dodge when I was dodging. So what's the point of dodge rolling and dodging then? Crowfall's combat was not the combat for me. But it doesn't mean it's a bad game, it just means it's not a good game for me. And I didn't need more than a few hours to figure that one out. But if I wanted to give the game an honest review and an honest score, I needed to spend at least 30-40 hours probably, and preferably on more than just one class. That's why I didn't make content for the game, I didn't make a review, first impressions or whatever of the game. First of all, it was in beta, or closed beta or open beta or whatever it's called. So honestly it's not a finished product. So it doesn't even... Crowfall, it's an MMO. Crowfall, maybe it's the proper way to pronounce it, I don't know. Crowfall. Oh, half the cost for Torchlight 3 is a no-brainer for me. If I didn't have it... Probably prior to Gears and Goblins. Gears and Goblins added some good stuff. This patch with reworking the Forged and the other quality of life changes and the new items even better now. But yeah, probably on launch week it wasn't as worth it, the full cost. Yeah, my opinion was for this game that it needed to launch in December. Before the game launched, when people were telling me how long do you think the game needs until launch, I always kept saying it would be best if they release it a little bit before the holidays. So if it released with the Snow and Steam update, it would have been received better, but it still would have gotten very boring after 2-3 weeks of farming for the majority of the players who are spoiled by playing games like Path of Exile and Grim Dawn, games that have years of endgame behind them. Because people are gonna inevitably compare it to those games, knowing that they can play those games because they either own them, or for example Path of Exile is actually free to play, so anyone can pick it up at any point. So obviously people would compare it, which is not fair to compare it to those games in their current state. If I were to compare this to Path of Exile, I would compare it to Path of Exile 2 months after it launched. So it's gonna be a fair fight. It's only fair. But I think a game needs at least 2 different endgame activities in the genre if it launches. I think they needed to wait until they add one more endgame activity before launching. And I wished they would have done that before this year ended. But in any case, I still think it's worth it for half the price, especially. I mean, even if you don't play it right now for half the price, eventually it will get better. So even if you grab it now and play it later, Well, the thing is they have a contract for 2 expansions. Someone mentioned they have a contract for 2 expansions. So if the publisher can keep investing for the game, into the game and for development. It's crazy, but you know, with the way the way technology is right now, it's not that difficult to just port it from one platform to another. You just need a few people to do this, a few people dedicated to porting this from one platform to the other, from PC to the consoles. Obviously, they probably hired some people specifically for that, people with experience. Yeah, I agree with you. It would have been okay if they focused on PC and maybe gotten more for less time for PC. I'm not sure how they're separating their manpower. I'm not a developer or editing related to that, so I can't tell you exactly how it is. Probably they would know themselves better whether if they focused only on one platform, they could have given us more for less time. I don't think it would have been that big of a difference, though. I don't think it would have been that big of a difference. At best, probably we would have had what we would have 1 month from now. Probably that's the... It's a small team, but at least with small team, they don't need that much investment in regards to salaries. Which is the good thing. If they have a specific budget and that budget can last them for X months, years, etc. With that specific team, and they have a plan and they gradually expand the team as the game picks up pace. The thing is, this game hasn't picked up much pace. It picked up pace, which almost doubled the average players the last few days after the sale. So if I go on SteamDB, where is SteamDB? Torchlight 3, SteamDB, Torchlight 3, there we go. So 455 maximum players logged in on the 25th of December at 8 UTC. Right now it's 907 24-hour peak. 24-hour peak, 907 players logged in. So it almost doubled in the last from 8:20 UTC to 18 UTC. So for 10 hours it almost doubled. But it was 174 players logged in on the 22nd of December. So that's like from 180 something, 170 something to 900. Although this game hasn't beaten its early access all-time peak after the game launched. So it had more people playing on day one of early access than day one of launch. Which is a sad story. It shouldn't have gotten this much attention in early access. All this attention should have been during launch week, not early access week. Because in early access it was in a much worse state than it was when it launched. A lot of people don't understand what early access is. Believe me, there's many people who don't understand the concept. You know what it is, but a lot of people don't know. That's how early access is, though. I mean, the days where you get paid to test games are long gone. Now you don't get paid to test games, you pay for a chance to test the games before they're ready. That's what early access is. You're helping the developers by giving them funds. Not a lot of people know it, but there's no longer that. This only works for free-to-play games. Free-to-play games do closed beta, they do open beta, and for those you don't pay, you play it, you give them feedback if you want to. And doing early access for free, they would have lost the progress of everything, which they still did because there still was a final wipe. They weren't planning. There was no plan on wiping. And the plan was for the final wipe to be right before early access, and then they had to rework the relic system. They decided, alright, one final wipe, we are reworking the relic system, we are making them a subclass now, and that needed the wipe. And they told us about this, and they asked us for our feedback. They said, all right, we don't know exactly how to approach this, how to say this to the community. Don't tell them about the wipe now until we figure out how to bring the news to them, how to... And that's good. It's good. It's good for them to try and figure out how to spin things, how to explain why the wipe is needed, because it really was needed. It was such a huge change making the relic a subclass that the wipe was needed. I didn't like it one bit, but I dealt with it. Well, they didn't know very early on. They didn't know. They knew after early access had started. After people told them the relics, blah blah blah, give me more skills, blah blah blah. Why do I only have this many skill bar slots, blah blah blah. People kept whining a lot. A lot of that whining was for good reason. And the developer said, okay, the community clearly doesn't like some things. They want more skills. They're counting icons on the slots. And they don't see clearly that the relic is giving us a lot of active and passive skills. Let's make it a clear, distinguished subclass that gives you a third skill tree, so that people would stop counting and comparing this to Torchlight 3, where you had 3 skill trees, blah blah blah. Torchlight 2, I mean, not 3. And as a result of that whining, we got extra 2 slots for skills. We got the relic button transformed into another skill bar slot itself. We got the change for the relics to become subclasses as a permanent choice instead of something that you can change as you go without needing to make a new hero. So it was all community driven. Yeah, I didn't like that as much, but with the cooldowns you can get from Frostwall and that, you actually can do some very fun builds right now. Yeah, it was nice having Skittering Shoulders, Arc-powered Shoulders in the build, either in the Legendarium or equipped, especially on proc builds with the Arc-powered Shoulders. It was pretty fun. Or on builds that needed durability, that needed survivability. Squishy builds with the Skittering Shoulders were pretty fun. Especially on mages like you, where you can just drop the Consecration and then pop the Skittering Shoulders. But now you can just put it on the skill bar. It's a tough choice. What do I sacrifice? But you can get it down to like 30 seconds, not 30. You can get down to 20 seconds. I've got Imbue Relic on my mage to 20 seconds. It's just the shoulders. The shoulders are the only ones that from triggers on the Relic Ultimate changed to active skills that you put on your skill bar. They added new legendaries with skills after that, because they already had the technology. So they probably thought, alright, let's use this technology, this way of giving people active skills for their skill bar with items. Let's add new items like that, like Sword of the Lost Legion, like Lightning Bower, like Imbue Relic and things like that. It's nice talking about those things, though. I don't mind talking about those things. Some people probably are wondering why is he talking to some people who we can't hear. It might be a little bit hard to yeah. People have told me it's weird when they can only hear me, but for me sometimes it's weird when we can hear everyone. And Pierce says he loves to talk about those things. And he's also asking, do you think Godfall should have done an early access? Oh, definitely. Godfall basically launched an early access game because PlayStation forced them to launch for the PS5 launch. They said, alright, PS5 launch is coming, this game better be ready or not, release it. We need to sell consoles, we need to sell AMD video cards, and CPUs. Release Godfall. And yeah, Godfall, give it a few more months, maybe it's gonna be better with the Primal update. Maybe. It's very repetitive. People were telling me that when they were watching me play Godfall, every day seemed like a deja vu. Day 2 looked like a deja vu of day 1. Day 3 looked like a deja vu of the previous 2 days. They didn't see anything different. It was basically me in the elevator and doing those trials, or me doing those, what's it called, Dreamstones. And yes, it's 2 different types of endgame, but they were pretty repetitive and boring. Yeah, we got disconnected. And Andrew asks, have you played Victor Vran? Yes, I've played Victor Vran. I've played Victor Vran, and Victor Vran, if I'm not mistaken, was developed in my country. In Sofia, in Bulgaria. It's 8:32 p.m. here. Yeah. We have some... Sega has studios here. The Total War team, I think, has studios in Sofia. Ubisoft has one of their studios in Sofia. Creative Assembly has studios in Sofia. And Victor Vran, I think, was developed by Hemimont, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. There's games that have been developed here. Tropico, for example, was developed here. I think it... was it Black Sea Studios? Or I can't remember, but yeah. There's a lot of companies that are outsourcing or creating teams in my country. Not just for gaming, for other things, because it's like the... You know how it's famous for India to be the country with outsourced support? Well, Bulgaria might be the new India in regards to qualified, capable people that speak English, that can actually do stuff, and you don't pay as much because the salaries, the standard is not as high. But you actually get people who know what they're doing. Some of them know what they're doing. Depends on what. Some companies hire idiots. Some companies would hire people who barely know what they're doing. But the Riot MMO, I read about that last night. Activision destroyed many things for many of their franchises. Activision is no longer Blizzard, only in name. I never liked WoW. I thought it's the worst thing to happen to the MMO industry, because everyone started copy-pasting the grindiness of WoW. I'm not saying Lineage 2 was not grindier than WoW. It was much grindier than WoW, Lineage 2. But I think World of Warcraft was one of the greediest moves Blizzard did. They could have done Warcraft 4, or they could have done a much different version of World of Warcraft, or they could have done an MMO Diablo. MMO Diablo would have been nice, or even better, MMO mashup, like you know how Heroes of the Storm is a mashup of all their games. An MMO where you kind of travel between one universe and the other universe and the third universe of the different games. You're like some separate character, and you go in a journey, travel to parallel universes, to the StarCraft universe and do something there, then maybe go into the Diablo universe, do something there. That would have been fun if you made it like with a humoristic spin, not too serious. But probably people wouldn't have liked this. Probably people would have shut on it. They would have said it was a joke. Yeah, it was a spit in there. but that would have been what I would have preferred instead of World of Warcraft. But World of Warcraft at least has a good story. If I were to just watch the cinematics of the story, that's good. I mean, Blizzard has always been good of making cinematics and story. I always liked also Guild Wars 2, ArenaNet and Guild Wars 1 and 2 story, especially Guild Wars 1 story. It was pretty fun for me. I really enjoyed the Guild Wars 1 story. And I much preferred playing Guild Wars 1 instead of World of Warcraft back in the day. It was my type of MMO. It was not really massive. It was more of a instance-based hub kind of game. And I liked Lineage because it was better for PvP. A lot of gate ganking and sieges, but the sieges were the thing in the Olympiad. But I don't know, World of Warcraft, it might be the most successful MMO out there, but everyone started trying to copy-paste it, and then you had so many Korean, Chinese, Japanese, and other Asian MMOs trying to copy-paste World of Warcraft and promoting pay-to-win and gaming as a service. We'll see what Riot does. I mean, I'm also looking forward to New World to see how it's gonna be after they reopen the game, because right now it's back to non-disclosure agreement. I've signed up long ago to their creator program, so on launch, if I do get accepted to the creator program, hopefully they give me a key. Otherwise, I might not buy it and play it until New World, the Amazon game. Well, there was a beta where they dropped the NDA for a bit. They dropped the NDA for a bit. A lot of people didn't like it, and then they said, "All right, back to the development phase. We need to fix some things. We need to change some things." And now it's back to non-disclosure agreement. I haven't played it. I've only watched other play it because I don't felt like paying to play it in the state it was in. I felt it was a very risky purchase. Pierce says, wait, was Activision a Blizzard company before they merged clients? No. Activision was not a Blizzard company. I think Activision bought out Blizzard, if I'm not mistaken. Activision is the parent company. Is the big fish. Activision is the big fish. Before it was, if I'm not mistaken, Vivendi. Back in the day when Diablo 1 and 2 were happening, I think Vivendi was the big company that owned Blizzard. And then eventually maybe Activision bought it, or maybe there was another company in between Activision and Vivendi. I can't remember. You're better off asking a specialist in the sphere. They were for a while, but I'm pretty sure that Max once said that when they were hired to do Diablo 1, it was Vivendi who were owners, the major shareholders of Blizzard. Blizzard North was a separate studio. If I remember, Blizzard North was a separate studio made specifically to be its own thing, to make their own game. And then eventually, I don't know, it's better if you talk to someone like Max or David Brevik or Max's brother Eric Schaefer. I mean, if you talk to one of those people, all of them should be able to give you a much better rundown of this compared to me, who barely remembers what I've heard and read in interviews, and being the the middleman here. Obviously, I haven't been there. I haven't been a part of that to know. I'm just trying to remember what I've heard in interviews. I think when Max was being interviewed by Riker on Twitch, he talked about this, and my memory is foggy, but I remember him talking about this then. I know about them being separate, Blizzard North and Blizzard North was exactly for that, to be that small studio, daughter studio or whatever the right term would be. Right now, I really wish someone would take Darkstone, make a new Darkstone with new engines, maybe Unreal Engine 5 if it fits, if it's not too heavy. Then if I would love for someone to make a Sacred, new Sacred, even if it's Sacred remaster with new engine, the same old story, same quests, do Sacred 1 and Sacred 2 just on a new engine. Or Dungeon Siege 1 and 2, not 3. 3 was kind of disappointing. Good games 1 and 2, bad game 3 for Dungeon Siege and Sacred. But Sacred 3 was made by a different studio than 1 and 2. And they can be made much better now if those devs decide to relive their glory, remake their former games with better graphics. I would buy them, I would play them. Even if they make a carbon copy of the old game in a new environment, in a new engine, and eventually after launch maybe add some new content, or even before the launch include some new endgame content, because people now need endgame. They don't just beat the story and then make a new hero like we used to before. I mean, we used to beat the story and then start farming bosses, and then when we are bored we make a new hero. Now you beat the story and you do tens, dozens, hundreds of hours of endgame to min-max this hero to the limits and then move on to another one, unless you're like me and you're just constantly making builds and testing new things. I don't have the time to try and min-max a build completely before I move to the next one, because I like to bring my community a lot of fresh, new, weird ways of building their heroes. So you have what? A duped item? Duping items, I hope I never manage to figure out how to do that. And I hope no one ever manages to figure out how to do it. I know I don't know how I did it. And I didn't even realize it until later. You can trade items, but it's still bad duping, because you can still kind of... I mean, you can make gold out of it, you can make a lot of other things out of duping. You can make essences. Long ago, when we had the old community manager Hops, very cool guy, he did say that they're not planning on adding trading for now, because they want to avoid the black market, gray market, people trading items for real money. And he said at best, if they ever do trading, it might be something, maybe something similar to Diablo 3 style trading, where you can only trade with your teammates that were then when the item dropped for a limited amount of time. But he was guessing back then, and I care, and I think there's many more people who care about people selling items for real money. For me, that's pay to win. That's allowing people to buy power, especially if you want to add competitive leaderboards in the game. Right now we may not have competitive leaderboards, and we may just have that little batch to compare our EP in, but maybe they might add something that allows you to compete, to have maybe weekly leaderboards. Maybe they might decide to make monthly fuzzier leaderboards for who beats it first or something. Exactly. I don't think if you design the game system in such a way where playing more means having better rank and better scores, that's boring. That's Diablo 3 all over. I think it should be about how well optimized your build is, how good you are at using that build, Not how much time you've spent playing the game, how much extra stats you've got, how much levels you've got. That's not the way it should be in my opinion. That's why I don't like Diablo 3's leaderboards, because if you use a bot, or if you share your account with 2 other people or 1 other person, so that this account is constantly played and someone is constantly grinding Paragon levels, you would have more stats than anyone else, and even if you play your build shittier than another person with the exact same build plays it, you would have advantage, because it would be easier with those extra stats. That's exactly what I said. I said exactly that. It's better if it means how much, how good you are, and so it shouldn't be just regarding how much time you spent like Diablo. Because in Diablo, believe me, there might be someone that's the biggest pro but only plays 2 hours a day, and then there might be people who have the account 24/7. Someone logging on that account, grinding Paragon levels, and eventually the one that plays 2 hours a day because he's got other things, work, family, etc., that he just won't be able to play as much. That person eventually would get surpassed by the botters or the people who share accounts in regards to stats and in regards to how easy it is to get min-maxed items. But I'm not talking about cheating, I'm talking about someone logging with my account from their own computer. It could be even in the same house. But how are they gonna know it's a different person if it's in the same house, on the same IP? People, siblings, that are the odds. People who are siblings, or people who have a team, for example. There's a lot of sponsorships. There's a lot of sponsorships out there for people. I don't know. I mean, there's people who do it. I've seen people botting in Diablo 3, and it's Blizzard. If Blizzard can deal with people botting in Diablo 3, who will be able to deal with people botting? And I know about people sharing accounts with others. I know about people, I've seen people admitting to sharing their accounts with others, so there's always someone grinding. In any case, I don't really care much about leaderboards, but I try to put myself in the shoes of someone who does care about them. But what if I wanna walk from my workplace? What if I travel a lot? They might have some systems to check it, but there's always ways to go around those systems. They might be checking for whether you're logging from the same machine but different IP, or they might be doing the other way, whether you're logging from the same IP but a different machine. But in any case, there's ways to do it. There's ways to trick something thinking of you using a different MAC address. There's ways to make it fake, or whatever it's called, the MAC address. So for example, if I walk my IP, if I walk my network by MAC address, if someone knows that MAC address, they can tell their computer to broadcast that MAC address and connect to it. And if I don't know, I'm not an engineer. I can't tell you how it works, but the point is, people are abusing it. They're finding a way to go around it. Yeah, that's so it works then. Normally with leaderboards, if people are smart, they're not gonna let themselves be astronomically high than others. If someone's cheating and wants to be smart, they wouldn't overdo it. They would just only over push the others when it's needed. And by like 5-10% or so. But in any case, in general, I just don't think I don't think time spent should equal strength. I think time spent should equal experience, personal experience, you getting better at how to handle your skills, you learning how to handle your build, you owning your skills. But I think a player who hasn't spent much time, as long as that player has the items that they need, as long as he got lucky and got those items earlier than someone else, and has a good understanding of the build because it's not their first season or first rodeo with that class, or maybe it's a new account or whatever, I think that they should have equal footing. So let's say player A, he has those items and they spent like a month farming those items, and then they're starting to farming the PvE leaderboards, and they're doing this record time in this dungeon. Oh shit, I clicked on offline. And then there's the person B who gets lucky in 1 week and reaches the same stage, just because they're better at using their build. And they have the same equipment as person A, but they're just better at using their build. And it doesn't matter that that they've just joined the game a week ago. As long as they know how to use that build, as long as they have better reflexes, and they're better at dodging when they need to, they're better at optimizing their rotation of the skills. I think that's what should be the defining factor when it comes to leaderboards regarding personal player skill. APM, how good you are at using the right skills at the right moment, in the right rotation, things like that, rather than who has more stats on their gear, who has spent more hours farming for that gear. I don't think getting to min-max your gear should be something that's an achievement in a game. I think getting to 90% min-maxed should be easy, then getting to 100% min-maxed should be the grind. And I think the difference between 90 and 100% min-maxed build shouldn't be that important when it comes to leaderboards. It should give you a little bit of extra edge, but not that much, where it makes you super overpowered with those extra 10% stats. So it should be just like a little bit of extra quality of life stats that give you a little bit of breathing room, but not... But keep in mind, I'm a person that hates grinding. That's why I think like this. 95% of the people out there probably won't agree with me. This is action RPG, not massively multiplayer RPG. Action RPG is not grindy. Actually, massively multiplayer RPG can also be action RPG, just like Guild Wars 2 is massively multiplayer RPG with an action skill system, kind of. But yeah, Diablo 2 was grindy, but that was 20 years ago. And right now, I can't be just as grindy. I don't like having to grind as much. I like grinding for min-maxing, but I don't think min-maxing should be the deciding factor. And I'd much rather spend less time on one hero and play hundreds of different builds instead of spending 1-2 months just trying to get this build finished, just trying to get that last piece of equipment I need for this build in a game that has hundreds of builds. It's like giving me 100 different types of candies, but telling me for this 1 week you can only eat this candy. You shouldn't touch the other 99 candies for the next 2 months until you've eaten X amounts of this one fucking candy with this one flavor. That's how I feel. this is the best genre. If I like grinding, I would play massively multiplayer games where you have daily quests and. I mean, this genre doesn't need to be grindy. That's a very wrong conception to think that hack and slash isometric shooters need to be grindy. If someone likes grind, then there's MMOs. They're grindy, and if someone likes grinding, what's the point? What's the point of grinding when you can play for fun? When you can get the build done in a week or two, and then just play for min-maxing that build. Like, get all the items you need with shitty stats, and then start farming for better stats of those items. So I'd much rather be able to get within a week or two of playing a build every single item I need for the build, with the worst possible stats, even if it's the worst possible stats. Like, let's say Winter with Cuirass, Winter with Gauntlets, Mountain King Helmet, Mountain King, whatever. All those items I need for my build, I should be able to get them easy. And from there on, I'm starting to farm for better versions of those items. I'm starting to farm for resources so I can respect those items to better ones. But this game doesn't have a system, and many other games don't have systems for that. But Diablo 3 has a very interesting system, which as I said many times, the Diablo 3 respecting system really fits in this genre. One of the few things I like about Diablo 3 is the item rerolling system. And yeah, why shouldn't people get their builds ready quick enough with the shittiest stats? I don't like Diablo 3 where you get a full set super quickly and you don't have much variety and you only play that set. And it might sound as if I'm saying give me the same thing as Diablo 3, but that's not what I'm saying though. Because I'm just saying one build, where this game has hundreds of builds you can play. Hundreds of builds. So even if I'm playing this electro sharpshooter, I can get the gear for one build in 1 week, but then later I would want to change every single piece of equipment, and then I would need another week to get those items maybe. And in anyways, I just want to be able to farm shitty legendary items with bad stats, and then dismantle those legendary items, get essences, and then spend those essences to min-max my build. That's all I want, because I get bored when a game takes too long to gear up. I think a game should value my time as a player, not think of me as a zombie with no life that can only grind and not do anything else but grind for gear. There should be a middle ground. I'm not saying make it as good as Diablo 3 to gear up, but I'm saying also don't make it as difficult as an MMO, where you might spend 2 months trying to get that one item from that dungeon, where there's no share drops and then it drops one item, but then who gets it when there's a big raid of 20 people, things like that. I mean, there's a balance there. And again, why shouldn't it be easy to get the items you need with the shittiest possible stats, and then just start working towards optimizing that build, squeezing those extra stats. Yeah, but a reasonable amount of farm. You would still have to farm to get those stats min-maxed. But I'd rather farm for min-maxing, not for drops in the first place. I'd rather get the drops reasonably quickly and reasonably slowly, but then just farm for materials to min-max those drops. As I said, 1 week of farming 6 hours a day is reasonable enough. That's like what, 30-40 hours spent on that hero? Maybe more, maybe like 50 hours spent on that hero until you fully gear it up. But that's where it actually starts. That's where you actually start farming materials, so you can change this affix on this item, then change that affix on the other item. So then you add a socket to this item that doesn't have a socket but needs a socket. Otherwise, you have to drop thousands of the same item, so you can get it with affix number 1, affix number 2, affix number 3, affix number 4, and the socket being the perfect ones you want. And even if you get 1,000 items of the same type, it doesn't guarantee that it's gonna give you that combination. I've done it in the test server. I did it. I wrote 100 and something times for the winter with forged chest armor, and before I got damage to pressure shot, I needed like 150 rows to get damage to pressure shot, and that's only one affix. So that's just 1 out of 4 things I can get on that chest. It didn't have a socket, it only had damage to pressure shot if I remember correctly, and then the other affixes most likely weren't the ones I needed. And that's with 150 different rows of this one item from an NPC that gives me that item every time I click on it randomly. So that's how bad RNG is. And if you don't have a way to reroll it, you might spend a year and still not get that one perfectly rolled item. And that's boring to me, if you can't get a perfectly rolled item, if your time means nothing to the game. If time invested doesn't guarantee you that eventually you're gonna get that one item with the stats you want on it for the time you spend. I think you should be able to convert your time into progress. There should be some conversion between time spent and progress. Not aimlessly spend your time and not get anything as a reward of the things you want. Just get things that are useless to you, things that you're just gonna either convert into essence or sell for gold, because there's not much more you can do with them. I mean, I'm trying to be reasonable here. I'm not trying to say give me something that gives me instant gratification, press of a button and I'm already min-maxed 100%. Well, I mean, if you think I'm unreasonable, okay. I mean, I don't expect others to agree with me. I know what sarcastic means. But I wouldn't call disagreeing being sarcastic, though. I mean, there is a middle ground. Yeah, there is a middle ground. There is a middle ground, and that's exactly what I try to aim for, where you don't grind as much, but also don't get instant gratification. But people have different preferences of how much they want to grind, and that's fine. I've played Destiny in the beta, and then after the game launched, I quit on hour number 4 or 5. After spending 4 or 5, maybe 10 hours, it was too boring. Oh, daily quests is the worst thing for me in a game. Especially when you can miss out. In a game where daily quests are designed in such a way where if you don't log in and miss out on that daily quest, then you're losing valuable progress. I think the moment you start designing your game around fear of missing out and forcing players to log in just so they don't miss out on rewards every day, then you failed. If you're trying to force your players to log in, not to design the game in such a way where players would want to log in, not because you're telling them, hey, you're missing out on rewards, but because the game is fun and because they wanna do something that's gonna reward them as a random dungeon or a random boss or a raid, not a daily quest. I also don't like limiting the amount of dungeons and raids you can do per day, per week. That's one of the worst things in MMOs. You can only do this raid once a week. You can only do this dungeon 1 or 2 or 3 times a day. Because someone might have 0 hours Monday to Friday, but have maybe 8 hours spare Sunday and Saturday. So let them do as many dungeons as they want on Saturday or Sunday, if they can't do dungeons on Monday through Friday. Something like that. Like working players. Yeah, if they did a pretty good job and if it wasn't super overpowered, it was something optional that you could just ignore and not do. If you thought it's a waste of time, then sure. I like in general for games to not have daily quests at all, so that even if it's not good, you don't feel like, all right, I'm not working today. I'm gonna miss out on something, even if it's shitty something. It's still weird when you design something as a daily reward, as if you're trying to tell your players, hey, you better log in today, else you're not gonna get that reward. Why not just get the daily rewards by just spending your time playing, doing some of the activities? All right, should I? Again, I'm telling you, my taste is different than 95% of the people out there. What I like is designs, as systems, as ways. I like things to be less grindy than the majority of people out there, but I also like things to be more difficult, and let's say not more difficult, but how do I put it the best way in English? I like them to be challenging and rewarding, but not as grindy. Challenging and rewarding, but not as grindy as some other games. To not require that much time spent. But I definitely don't like it being hardcore. I'm a casual player. I might spend a lot of time playing, but I don't play. I don't like having to be like super meta min-max setup. I like being able to get a non-min-maxed setup and the non-min-max setup being viable, and then the min-max setup just giving me the quality of life of doing the same type of content but quicker. Not it being a difference of whether you can do or not do the content based on whether you have min-maxed gear or not. I like the final 10% of min-maxing of the gear to just provide you with the quality of life of doing that said content with X% of time quicker, rather than a question of, oh, can this build do it or not. I also like for a game to be balanced in such a way that there's no shit builds. That there's no way of getting a shit build. In Torchlight 3, I don't think there is a shit build right now. Even the shittiest of builds with good enough gear would be able to complete Fazir 251 if you take it to that. If, for example, you teleport someone with good gear into 251 Fazir on the worst possible build, they should be able to do it. Definitely slow with a shit build. It's definitely gonna take much harder, much longer to do it. But I think you can do it right now. In Torchlight 3, every shitty build, the shittiest of builds you can make, as long as you have the best gear, you should be able to do it. And then if you just min-max the final 10% of the build, which is pretty impossible in the game right now. In fact, it's, let's say it impossible to min-max the final 10% of a gear of a build. I'm talking about every single affix being a gold roll, something that you want. All affixes on that item, on every single item being the best in SWAT, best rolls. This is pretty impossible right now to do, but if you get that, that's just gonna allow you to do it quicker. It's not gonna be a life of death. It's not gonna be a question of just you not being able to do it versus you being able to do it. And I like that about the game. Whereas in Path of Exile or Wosen, if you take the shittiest of builds out there and compare it to a meta build, the shittiest of builds won't be able to do even half of the content that the meta build would do. In Path of Exile, a shitty build would not be able to even scratch one of the tough bosses and one of the tough types of content and the hardest types of tiers of maps. And that's a big disbalance out there. That's huge disbalance between the haves and have-nots, maybe we can call them, the meta and the shitty builds. The same goes for Wosen. If you take a meta build and a shitty build, meta builds would be able to do 189 expeditions, whereas a non-meta build probably would even struggle at 163, which 163 is the level where items stop giving you extra stats. If you're farming higher than 163, then you're doing it wrong in Wosen, because 163 is cheaper to upgrade than 189, but it gives you the same amount of stats as 189 expeditions. Which game? Ah, you played it for an hour. Well, I mean, yeah, if you've only played for an hour, you can definitely refund it if it's through Steam, and I don't think it exists anywhere else. But yeah, I like that. And someone redeemed emotes only long ago, and I didn't see it. So I can probably turn the emotes on now. Sorry for that. That's why I kind of, when I go into Discord and I get into conversations. Apologies if I missed something of the chat. I get very heated when we talk about grind and things like that. This is a sore subject for me. Grind, itemization, and balancing in games, especially diversity from items and skills and things like that. And especially when we are talking about black market and things like that, which is actually what started the discussion and me starting to get heated when you were talking about whether or not I agree of in-game trading for real money being a thing. I just don't think people should be able to trade pixels for money and for others to buy power this way. Because that's what you're buying in a way in the game. And that's Diablo Immortal will be pay to win, even though people would say, hey, that's pay for convenience. That's exactly what you're paying for. You're paying for power. And in a game that has PvP, if you're paying for more rewards... Pardon? There's PvP. It doesn't matter how much the skills are balanced. The moment someone can, on day one, buy certain things with money, like for example, from what I've heard, from what I've read in the Blizzard forum, you would have three currencies: gold, platinum, and orbs. Orbs you can buy, and then you can trade those orbs either for platinum or gold. They didn't specify which one. Maybe one of the two, or maybe both of them. Platinum you would earn from doing daily quests and things like that. And with those orbs, you would also be able. To buy crests. Crests would make your rifts empowered. Empowered rifts would give you more rewards, and they would give you legendary stones. Legendary stones are something that basically you need to upgrade your gear, to put them in legendary sockets in your six major equipment slots. So basically you're saving time by not having to play and grind for those gems, so you can equip them. And yeah, probably you won't be as good as a pro player, but you would definitely be able to get on equal footing just by opening your wallet and saving time. And that is in a way pay to win, because you're saving a lot of time by paying. You're jumping ahead. It's like skipping ahead on a queue because you paid a little extra. That's kind of what it is. And then maybe the queue would close in the day and someone would lose their chance. But you paid extra for the VIP extra seats. I mean, I try to make it clear when I talk about something new, but yeah, maybe people get confused. But yeah, Diablo Immortal already has the makings of an interesting pay-to-win game for the whales to compete. It's gonna be the game where it's gonna be a whale competition. And yeah, definitely in the PvP there's gonna be someone that's gonna be destroying whales because, well, they're better APM. Someone that's much faster at using the right skills and so on. But in general, when it comes to farming and grinding, whales would have the extra head start every week when they're competing for the weekly leaderboards, and there will be weekly leaderboards. Because you're gonna be able to buy crests and then use those crests to guarantee yourself that you're getting extra legendary stones, and then you would be able to also get special reforging that allows you to when rerolling items to focus on specific affixes instead of RNGing it and hoping that you get those affixes. So in general, yeah, I'm gonna do some content eventually for Diablo Immortal. I just don't have time with around the holidays with some of the other things I've planned for this game and for Chaosbane, but I have a plan of like 4 separate videos for Diablo Immortal to tell people what to expect from the game, how pay to win would be, what the different systems that have been announced are, what to expect from those. I think we got disconnected, or maybe not. It's waggy, it's kind of waggy, but yeah. I will still play Diablo Immortal for a few days when it launches, just to play it for a few days to give it an honest review, and if it's bad, tell people it's bad. If it's not as bad as I think right now, tell them, alright, I was wrong, it's not as bad as it first sounded on paper. Right now I can only guess based on what they've told us, but this is not final. Everything can change after player feedback from the closed beta and the open beta. But I owe it to my viewers, to my subscribers out there, to test the game, even though it's a mobile game, and mobile games. I'm gonna play it on PC, even though it's a mobile game. I'm gonna just download some emulator, and play it on PC and stream it for a few days. And I'm gonna do the same for Torchlight Infinite, the mobile Torchlight, when it comes out. And I'm gonna do the same for Warhammer Odyssey, if all of those games are free to play. We know Diablo Immortal will be free to play, so at least that one I can confirm I will be able to test for you, for everyone out there. But I can tell you it's not gonna be a game I feel like playing right now for a long time, just to test it in the first week, to tell people what to expect and help them decide themselves whether it's worth it or not. I'm neither gonna jump on the bandwagon of hating Diablo Immortal just because it's a mobile game and just because they announced it before Diablo 4, which I was disappointed for them to announce a mobile game instead of Diablo 4 first. But I'm gonna try and test it, see for myself if it really is as bad as I think it is right now. And believe me, it's still gonna be a successful game, and Blizzard is still gonna make a ton of money from Diablo Immortal, because it's probably gonna be better than 99%, maybe every single other game in the genre on Android and iOS there. Because all of those other games are shitty pay to win, with a terrible grind and with super bad itemization, and with more pay to win than you can even imagine. if you've played those mobile games. I've recently tested, just for the sake of testing, like half a year ago or so, a bunch of different hack and slash mobile ARPGs just to see what really is there. And believe me, they gave me eye cancer in regards to what I was seeing in those games. They were so bad, those mobile RPGs. Some of them were just purely whale competitions where you're just competing who has deeper pockets. No more than that. So Diablo Immortal at least won't be a deep pocket competition. At least the itemization in Diablo Immortal in some ways seems better than Diablo 3, which I was actually surprised. Diablo 3 seems to have shittier itemization than Diablo Immortal, but at least it doesn't have a cash shop in Diablo 3, so there's that. But yeah, there's actually some very good things about Immortal, which caught me by surprise. I didn't expect it to have such a detailed, intricate itemization with so many things you can upgrade one way or another and customize. So it's not all bad that I can say about the game. And if it didn't have the cash shop and maybe was a buy-to-play title, it might have actually been fun to compete and to everything, knowing that everyone has equal footing, regardless of how much they've spent into it, knowing that everyone spends the exact amount by just buying the game. But buy-to-play titles don't make that much money on mobile. If you want the big bucks, you want a cash shop item in mobile. That's how it is. And Blizzard is in it for the big bucks. They're not in it for a mediocre profits. If they're gonna make a mobile game, they're gonna go all in. We'll see. I mean, as I said, I'm just guessing right now based on what they've shown, but what they've shown could change in a month, and they could have gotten some feedback based on the screenshots and the things they gave us in December, and maybe by January they might have changed a lot of those things. If people told them, hey, why are you selling crests? Why are you selling special reforged stones? What douchebaggery is this to sell those things? But Diablo Immortal in general would be for the younger generation who have mommy and daddy's credit card to buy them diamonds or whatever it's called, those orbs. It's not aimed for the old school gamers. At least that's how I think. I don't think Blizzard was saying, hey, let's make a mobile game for the old school Diablo crowd. I think what they were thinking is, hey, there's a lot of kids playing mobile games. Let's try and make them play something that's not Fortnite on mobile. Let's try and get them to play Diablo on mobile. Let's get their money. Probably that's what they were thinking when they decided to make Diablo Immortal. There's money to be had there in the mobile market. By the way, the giveaway is 5 minutes away. So maybe one more map after this, and then I can draw the winner. And then I'm not sure if I should stop the stream at 9:30 today or wait until 10:30. We'll see. Maybe I can stop early today because it's still Christmas. Yeah. But yeah, I liked having a talk about things. We disagreed about some things, but we can always agree to disagree about some things as civilized people. That's how it is. I know that my views don't match with everyone else out there. I know, like, I've got a very niche way of thinking and imagining the perfect game for me, and the perfect game for me is not gonna be a successful game because not everyone thinks like me. I've always thought that if someone designs the perfect game for me, it's gonna be a flop because people just don't enjoy the things I enjoy in games. And I've learned to accept that things are never gonna be 100% the way I want them to. But if they're like 80% the way I want them to in a game, that's good enough to make me play. And Torchlight 3 right now has the most amount of things the way I want them to in the genre, in the market right now. It's only missing more endgame and some more customization with the item rows, and it only needs to remove this boring power creep and give us power creep that remains in the Fuzzier, and it's not tied to items, but rather tied to something else. Like as I said, a legend system equal to the Legendarium, where you put certain things into certain slots, and you get more of those things the higher you go, and you unlock more slots the higher you go. And then you have to decide which thing goes in which slot out of the limited number of slots you have, and the higher amount of things you have than the slots. Something like that, like the Legendarium, but within the Fuzzier, and the higher you go, the more things you unlock. I've said it multiple times, I'm not gonna repeat it. But yeah, let's see, 3 more minutes, let's do one more map. One more map, and then after that the giveaway would have ended, and I would draw the winner. There's one more giveaway tomorrow, so have no fear. We can do that one. What did you say? Oh, you've signed up to the giveaway? You have to sign up on Gleam. Gleam, you either sign up via YouTube or Twitch or both of them, whichever you want. So unless you've signed up, you might go head to the link if you want to. Okay. People who have the game, even people who have the game are free to join it if they want a copy, a CD key for a friend, for a sibling, for another type of family member, for anyone else. Everyone's open to join. But yeah, there's a few more minutes left, so you still have time to enter. Final calls. You have until I'm done with this map to enter. I'm not sure if in 1 minute the entries would be closed, or whether the entries would be closed until I actually pick a winner. But yeah, it won't show you the winner until I pick one and confirm it. But I will show the winner just like yesterday. I would show it on stream so people see the transparency. I'm just gonna hide the email of that person so you don't abuse it and spam him. Just like yesterday. And John, that one yesterday, came to the beginning of my stream earlier today in the morning, in part 1 of today's stream, because I split the stream in 2 parts. And he confirmed it's fine, the key works. He was installing it, so good to make people happy, giving them copies of the game. Are we breaking the servers with all the procs? Electrodes used to be so hard on the server during early access. Especially they didn't have a limit on shock bolts. Yeah. And there was no limit on the shock bolts, and people could reach over 16 shock bolts on the build. Then they limited them to, I think, no more than 6 or something like that, to proc at the same time from the same proc. I mean, you can still have multiple procs resulting in multiple shock bolts of 6, multiple quintuplets, no, sextuplets of shock bolts on the map. But okay, let's go and draw the winner. It says giveaway ended. Let's go on to winners. I'm gonna share my screen in a moment. I just wanna click on draw winner, draw, and then I wanna see where the where the email is so I can hide it. Oh, James won. Gumchi. Congrats to James. Maybe he has a friend or someone else they can give it to. Just a moment. I'm gonna put an image to hide. Let's open. Let's just open something randomly from build thumbnails, Torchlight 3. Just gonna open some sort of random image. Builds, new. Alright, thanks as well for joining. Really appreciate the team, to both you and to Space Freaks, to Fwo if he's here. You too, and yeah, good night to everybody from my teammate. I'm gonna open the Torchlight 3 logo and then put this here, and then I'm gonna share my Firefox, and now this logo needs to go a little bit down so you don't see the email of James's email. Just a moment. Okay, I think I can show it now. So this is the winner. It's James Gumchi. He's actually a streamer, content creator on YouTube, and I assume on Twitch. He's multi-streaming just like me. Pure Coincidence says, which relic is the strongest for Dusk Mage in my opinion? I'd say if you want damage, go for Electrode and for a Flaming Destroyer. Those are amazing for damage. If you want strong for damage, not strong for survivability. So James, congrats. I can write to you on Discord since I have you there. So yeah, let me hide this now. But everyone's seeing it's James Gumchi Gaming. You're not seeing the full email, but alright, James is the winner today. Congrats to him if he's still watching. He was here earlier. I'm gonna announce winners, and I'm gonna write to him on Discord. And there's gonna be another giveaway tomorrow. I'm gonna make a separate link. So thanks everyone for tuning in on YouTube and Twitch. Thanks for watching. It means a lot to me. And happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Ramadan, or whatever you're celebrating, wherever you're from. Keep it cool until next time, and goodbye for me. And if you have more questions, don't be afraid to contact me on Discord or just send me a message elsewhere. I'm gonna reply when I'm ready. Goodbye.